So Tagcaster is a tool for managing social media campaigns. And what it lets you do is essentially create lists of tags that you can then distribute to your audience using a simple bookmarklet. And what I've done here is created a basic sort of polling application that will let people at Ignites thumbs up different presentations that they like. So this is the output of the program. And you can see here that on the left-hand side are the different presentations. I've used Ignite Sebastopol as an example, and the different thumbs that people have given on Twitter. And then over on the right here are the profile images of the various people who have voted for these different things, and it's branded with Ignite. So the way that this works is there's basically each participant in the event needs to include 3 special tags in a tweet. The first is the event hashtag, so that's just the tag that's associated with the event. The second is a special hashtag that says, hey, this is a thumbs up, I like this presentation. And the third is the tag that represents the presenter, the person who was giving the presentation. Now the advantage of this approach is that it lets, versus doing a polling, your own sort of polling system, is that it lets you use social media channels to raise your event's profile. Now the disadvantage is, it's simple in concept, but it's really hard in practice, because for a couple reasons. The first is you have to distribute the different codes you want your audience members to use. And second, you have to ensure that they're used accurately. They have to be spelled correctly. They have to do all this kind of validation stuff. So Tagcaster is a tool to make this type of application easier. So it's easier for the audience is that it gives you them a convenient bookmarklet that has all the different tags that they're supposed to use embedded inside this bookmarklet. That makes it easy to use and to use correctly. For the organizer, it gives you the ability to create a list of tags that you want people to use, a system to publicize them so that you can publish the bookmarklet out, and then a data feed that you can use to make mashups. And what I'm going to show a little bit later is a script that I've written to take the list of presenters in an Ignite and make this graph, make this visualization of their votes. So first, from just the audience perspective, this is what you would see if you were at Ignite Sebastopol and you'd say you wanted to give a thumbs up to Dale's presentation. You'd say, great job on cheese, Dale. And then to acknowledge to get it registered within the system, you'd launch the Tagcaster bookmarklet. And this pops up, and here is the event tag that you're supposed to use. So to select that event tag, you click, I want to Ignite Sebastopol. I want to give a thumbs up, and I'm going to go switch over to the presenters list and select Dale. And now I'd say, okay. And this tells me what's happened. So essentially, those tags have been put in my operating system's paste buffer, and now I can just paste them in where I want to use them. And that's the basics of what the system does. So from the presenter's perspective, and you can rearrange these. So you could say, just watched great prezzo by at Ignite Sebastopol, thumbs up to Dale P. So it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really matter what the specifics of the text are, just so long as these tags are included. Now, so that's what the user sees. So to set something up like this, you would go into the Tagcaster as the organizer before the event. You would go in and you would set up the list that you want to use. So I'm going to log in as Ignite. And here I've created 2 different lists. This is the main Ignite series of tags, so this is where you can go in and add thumbs up. You can put in Ignite Sebastopol. You could also add other tags that people might want to use at the Ignite event. So like here's O'Reilly Media. You might include Global Ignite Week, something like that. And then for presenters, here's the list of presenters. So if we wanted to add someone, we could say at Tim O'Reilly. Let me say Tim O'Reilly. O'Reilly. Language is a map. And save that, and then your lists are all set up. So the next thing is, once you've got the list set up as the organizer, you can click this little View Badge. And what View Badge will do is it's going to pull up a page that's got essentially an embeddable badge that you can use to put on a website where you're going to publicize the event, so that when people are going to learn more about the event, this is the page where they would go to actually install the bookmarklet that has all the tags. So what you would do is you would just copy this little snippet of code out of here and embed it inside the announcement page. So here I've embedded the Tagcaster badge inside the Sebastopol announcement on the Ignite week. And to install the bookmarklet, you would just you would say, hey everybody, who's attending this event, we're going to be voting tonight. So go to this page and install the bookmarklet by dragging it up to your toolbar, and then that's what's used to launch the bookmarklet. And so the other thing that you get when you're using the bookmarklet is excuse me, the ability to get a feed of all the different tags within that are contained within the list. And so here's the different JSON representation of all the tags that I created for Ignite Sebastopol. And what I've done is written a little script called pp.py. And what this script will do is basically it'll fetch the list of tags from the Tagcaster site and pull out the various pieces that it needs to create that visualization that I showed earlier. And then it will go through and it'll use the Twitter API to pull out all the occurrences of when those tags have been used. So it'll search for Ignite Sebastopol, then it will look and see who got a thumbs up, which presenter was giving the thumbs up, and it computes some tallies, and then it will basically generate all the HTML that's necessary to create this nifty little visualization of the results.